What's going on, guys? Coach Ty Woody here with Pickleball Sports Performance. There we go.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Hey guys, guess what? We've landed in Arizona, and I've run into one of my closest, most beloved friends. And by the way, he's one of the #1 trainers probably in the world. He probably goes to Mars and Jupiter and lands there and teaches the Martians how to do it. That's how good he is. So I wanted to ask you, man, you know I work with a lot of high-level pros. And if you were to have a really sit-down conversation with them, what would be the 2 or 3 things that you would tell them that's super important to do to have longevity in the game?
Yeah, absolutely. Really, first one would just be, you got to get in the weight room. I mean, you have to be training. You need to be a stronger, faster, more resilient athlete to meet the demands of what you're asking your body to do. It's It's a non-negotiable if you're trying to get to that next level. And the other thing too is really have a routine, right? Have a warm-up routine, have a cool-down routine, having a mobility, stretching, recovery routines. I mean, that's the name of the game, is longevity. Right?
Wow, right. So you're saying before and after a match?
Yes.
Like, know what you need to do to your body so you can repair and get back on the court?
Absolutely. I mean, especially for the grinds of a tournament, and when you're here for multiple hours in a day, you have to be able to get your body ready to perform.
Does that change depending on weather, like if it's hotter or colder?
I mean, in terms of the actual movements and such, no, but in terms of keeping yourself warm and maintaining all that throughout the day, I mean, that's really what matters. So if it's, it's going to be really cold, making sure that you're wearing clothes that help keep the heat in, right? Versus when, it's outside and it's summertime, I mean, you don't have to worry about that too much. But regardless, having your routine centers you, right? Having the warm-up routine so that when you're at a tournament and you're stressed and the anxiety is a little higher, that routine that you're creating actually helps calm you down. It centers you so you can be able to get ready to play.
Mentally and physically.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, guys, love this guy. If he lands on Mars, I'm going to find him and kill him because we need him here. But here's the deal. I'm going to get his contact information. If you just want to ask him questions, call him, email him, whatever. He's the man. The man. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
Hi, everyone. My name is Quang Duong, and I'm like a professional pickleball player.
Oh, you guys. Okay, I've got something really special for you. I'm here in Arizona, and I've got one of the youngest, most amazing, talented young guys in the world. And not only is he talented on this court, but he's a super wonderful soul. Quang, how you doing, man?
Good, how are you?
Thank you for being here with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
That's awesome. I wanted to ask you, if you can tell a younger player, maybe a 5.0 guy that wants to go pro, what would be the #1 thing you would tell him that he needs to do?
Who's younger than me? I don't know, I'm still pretty young, but maybe the most important thing is listen to your coach, or / in my case, my dad is my coach. So just listen to the person who's coaching you, and even your parents.
Yeah. Why the parents?
Well, because no matter what, they're always on your side.
Right.
When they give you, when they criticize you, they tell you something to do this, do that, but at the end of the day, they're always trying to help you to get better, and they will just be there.
Right. They're always there for you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So then, what would be the #1 thing? How much time do you spend on the court practicing compared to playing?
Playing, probably a lot. Well, it depends on the day, but I would say around 2 hours and a half, 3 hours on the court most of the time.
Drilling,
but that's in the morning, and they probably do different stuff, different drilling in the evening.
So you do a morning and an evening drill?
Yes.
And will you play in between?
No, not really. Depends on depends on the day. Mostly my game practice partner is with my brother.
That's his brother, by the way, and he sucks. He's not very good. I'm kidding. He's really good.
So I might play 2 against 1, 1 against 2.
Yeah.
Or I give my brother only half court and I play the full court. So it's varies.
Yeah. Okay, so God, it sort of sounds like you're saying it's like a 70-30 split, 70% drilling and 30% playing.
Yeah, I would say so.
Wow, that's awesome. I also want to tell, he has the most amazing relationship with his dad, who's his coach, and they're always side by side. And it's really wonderful to see how close that unity is. And I just want to say thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for answering our silly questions.
No worries. Yeah,
and I'll see you around the tournament, brother.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, I'll see you later. Hi, Dad.
Hey guys, my name is Gabriel Tardio, Gabriel Tardio, Tardil, and yeah, we're out here in Mesa. We're here with Coach Terry, and one thing I would tell you if you want to get better is to be a little more aggressive. You know, the game is evolving, so you gotta learn how to, like, you know, roll your dinks, roll your drops, and just speed it up, drive, just be aggressive as you can.
That's awesome. Great. That's a great tip. Now, you know, this boy's playing with Ben Johns this weekend. They're going to be probably up there banging for gold, baby. Here we go, right?
Come on, man.
Let's go. Come on, let's go. So I think that if you guys watch Gabe, one of the things that you should look for, he's one of the nastiest inside-out middle backhand volleyers probably on the planet. And so what made you what taught you that shot? When did you actually catch on to that thing?
Shit, a lot of messing around. It's what got me to master it, really. I don't know, I just like to do a lot of crazy stuff, and if I like it, I'll practice it and I'll just master it. And yeah, that's how I got basically most of my shots. I just, you know, most people think it's crazy. I like it, I think it's working. I just drill it until I master it, and yeah.
How much time do you spend drilling compared to playing?
It's probably like 50-50, really. Probably I should be drilling a little more than playing, but yeah, it's just I'm barely home now, so
right, traveling so much.
Yeah, when I'm home, I want to have some fun playing as well.
Right.
So.
Well, I got to tell you, this boy and I, every time we get on the court, we bring home some medals. So,
100%.
You know, this man's the stud. I want you all to, like, hit up his Instagram, hit up his channels, and make sure you give a lot of love to this guy. He's going to be a beast. He is a beast. He's my beast. Let's go.
Riley Newman, R-I-L-E-Y, last name is Newman, N-E-W-M-A-N, and I'm a professional pickleball player.
Yeah, so this man and I go back like 8 years or something. We go back a long time, back in the Tyson McGuffin days. So here's a legend. He's definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame, and he's also infamous. So, you know, everyone that should be afraid of him on the court needs to be afraid of him off the court for a lot of reasons. But I wanted to ask you, Riley, you know, if you could talk to, you know, the next generation of kids that are coming up, trying to play the game, trying to be a pro, what would you say?
I mean, the biggest advice I could say is just to drill. I think a lot of times it's so fun to go out and just play rec pickleball with your buddies 3, 4, 5 hours a day, but you maybe don't see the growth that you would if you just put in the time on the practice court. So percentages I like to use is about drilling 70%, play 30%. Just get the foundations of just drops, kitchen, just be super dialed in with just making shots. I think you see the best professional pickleball players in the world, they get to the kitchen line at a very high clip. So if you're able just to master your drops and get to the kitchen line, you're going to be very, very successful in this game.
Yeah. What about the duration? Like, what do they need to do to prepare themselves to be on the court all day long?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be putting the work in the gym. A few years ago, you know, you could just play for 2 hours on the court, that'd be good enough. But now the level of play is so good that you got to put in time in the practice courts, you got to put in time in the gym. I'm doing uphill sprints, I'm doing lunges, I'm doing any agility plyometric drills that I can do, just because the game is getting so good now that if you don't do these type of things, you're going to get passed up. So it's a very humbling experience because the game is just becoming so talented and so fast and so much spin that you just got to keep evolving and keep changing.
Yeah. Well, that part, good job. You know, that is what, you know, so, you know, what do you think the difference is between the women's game and the men's game?
I think the men's game, you know, typically you want to, like, when you do attack, men's, you want to be attacking straight ahead, more middle, just because if you're attacking cross court, in men's doubles, it's too much time. And these guys have too good of hands. They're going to be all over it. So that's what you see probably in the women's game, where women's will actually attack cross court, potentially set up their partner with some attacks. But men's, you definitely got to stay focused on your placement of where you attack. I like to say you got to go 60% on placement of attacks, trying to find an awkward spot on your opponent's body rather than just trying to blast them through. I think a lot of 4-0s and 4-5s, they try to just blast through their opponents off that very first attack from the kitchen line, and you got to really be disciplined and look to go for spots and placements on your opponent's body rather than just trying to go through.
So it's more finite. It's not as big. Well, okay, man, I'm going to give the man a hug because I love this boy. And I love his whole family. And he knows how much I love them.
You do. I love you
him.
too. I love you too.
And he's the man. If you see him, he's super sweet. Talk to him, ask him questions, because he's got the answers. Thanks so much. So here we are again at the Mesa PPA, and I have got the amazing pleasure to be with this phenomenal friend and woman and mother of 12.
Three.
Oh, only 3?
Don't get it confused.
Yeah, my mathematics has
You're
always
not
been
good.
bad.
Yeah, it's way off.
not good.
Only
good.
3.
So, Lindsey, spell your name for us.
Yes, Lindsey, and then it's Newman, Newman. Play professional pickleball on the PPA tour, and I love this tournament because it's like 5 minutes away from my house, so I get to play in the tournament and then go home and sleep in my own bed, which is an honor.
Wow, what a plus, right? Not normal. So listen, what would you say to some of these young ladies that are, thinking about breaking into the tour? What would be the number 1 or number 2 things that you would suggest that they need to do?
I would definitely say drill. Definitely drill more than you play. And then if there's anybody that, you can kind of link up with, practice, if you can play with the guys, that's always really good practice. But definitely drill more than you play.
And once they get here, what's the thing that is kind of like the first downer of being on tour?
First downer. Losing stinks for sure. You're gonna have lots of really, really, really good competition. Everyone's coming up, everyone's trying to win. So losing will hurt, but you better get used to it because if you're me, it's gonna happen more than you want it to.
Oh, stop. She's got a lot of gold medals, so don't listen to that.
No, I do not. So yeah, just have fun, try to enjoy it. Don't take it too seriously. As long as you have a good family, good friends, good faith, then you're in a good boat.
Yeah, that faith part is hard. So you got to dig in hard. Anything else?
Follow me, Lindsey Newman 27 on Instagram.
Let's go. By the way, this is one of my best friends for like 7 years. I love their family. I love this woman. And thanks for listening.
I'm Leigh Waters. Most of you probably know me as Anna Leigh Waters' coach or Christian Alshon's coach. I used to play with Anna Leigh, and at the time, we were the #1 women's team in the world. Of course, that was before I tore my ACL, so I play with her sparingly. I actually stand there, and she does everything else.
It's not true. If you've seen this woman play, you know that's a complete lie. She's a stud on the court, off the court, and an amazing individual, and it's always a pleasure to be on court with this one.
Thank you.
We coach a lot of times together, and it's always super fun. But I wanted to ask you, because we talk to a lot of guys, a lot of guy pros, but from the woman's perspective, what's the difference in bringing a new player into the pro field in the women's league?
Like what's the best way to break in?
Yeah, I mean
it's so hard. I mean, back in the day, there just weren't that many women, right?
Right.
It was easier to get a partner. Now it's like way harder to get a partner. I think the main thing though is and I say this to the juniors, but I would say it to a new pro too, is keep developing yourself as an athlete. Don't just play 100% pickleball and do nothing else.
Right.
You got to work on everything because everything you do off the court is going to transfer on the court.
Right.
And I would even say play singles. Even if you're not a singles player, play singles because single shots really can transfer over into doubles.
Right.
Especially the little angles and the finesse shots. And so I would just say work on being an athlete, play some singles even if you don't love it. And then, it's a grind, so I'm not going to lie about that. It is a grind. Even in the women's game now, it's a grind.
Yeah. So how do you handle that? I mean, you travel with your daughter, and I try to travel with my son as much as possible.
Yeah.
But it's difficult, isn't it?
It's really difficult. So, if you're lucky enough that you have someone that can travel with you that understands the sport, I think it helps a lot. Even if that person isn't your coach, just somebody that can take some of the stresses off of you, like the grocery shopping or the parking or just whatever. Anna Leigh's lucky she has me to do the coaching, and she has her dad, Steven, that can do all those extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
But anybody that can just help you, because it is a grind and it is hard and the weeks are long and the travel's long. So if you have a friend that can take the time to travel with you or even coach you, it's huge what a coach can see from the sidelines that you can't when you're playing.
Can't see it.
Yeah,
we both know that.
Yeah, for sure.
So you guys, you can tell that this woman is a wealth of information. So if you ever get a chance, you want to ask her a question, ask her, because she's flat
not
out
scary.
amazing. She's far from scary and sweet as pie. Sweetheart,
you.
I love you.
Thanks.
You're the best.
Thank you.
It's Jay Deviliers, Jay, and then my last name Deviliers, Devillers. Can't mess it up now.
Yeah, don't make that mistake. But here's the deal. Not only can he tell you his name and spell it in one language, he can do it in multiple languages. So not only do I love him for his game on the tour, but he's one of the nicest guys on the planet. So Jay, tell me something, man. If you could talk to 20 top guys that want to be on the tour, what would be the number one thing you'd ask them?
You know, if you want to be at the top of the game, you got to play hard, train hard, and elevate your game every time. So learn from your losses to win more, and then dominate.
And then how do you, between home and life and travel, how does that all work?
Yeah, finding that balance, it's tough. Like, a lot of us get burnt out. It's just managing your time well, your recovery well, and it's really important to find that key balance that I'm talking about. And once you find that, you got to stick to it, and then great things happen.
You know what? Why great things happen? Because he's a great man and an amazing player.
I appreciate you, Terry.
Love you, brother.
Love you too.
Yeah, I'm DJ Young. Born and raised in Spain. Now I live in San Clemente, and I've known this guy for way too long.
Yeah, we go back to the early days, man, before I was fossil, and now I'm fossil-like. So, dude,
I don't think I had a beard.
You did not.
Yeah.
You were like just turning 18.
I was.
And now you're married with the baby.
That is completely correct.
Oh, man, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you
man.
so
That's
much.
great. So, you've got a podcast, you've got a lot going on. So how do you balance home and podcast and work and being on the tour?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think I don't think you really balance it, to be honest with you. It's impossible to do everything at like 25%. But I think whatever you're doing at the moment, in my case, I just try to be as present as possible. So if it's like 2 or 3 hours training, like my time is like 100% on the training. If I'm home with the baby and the wife, then I try to be as present as I possibly can, instead of just kind of dancing around and doing little things here and there. So whatever I'm doing, it's just, okay, this is what I'm doing, 100% of my focus for the next couple hours, and then move on and do something else.
Yeah, it's perfect. So what would you tell the one aspiring guy that wants to be on the tour, if he really wanted to be on the tour, what's the one thing that he really needs to work on?
I would say just go out there and play some tournaments, get your ass beat a little bit, and then I think that'll be the best way to get some feedback on what you need to work on, instead of just playing with the same people all the time and beating them and stuff. So yeah, just go out there, play some tournaments, get some feedback, go back, train whatever you lost, or whatever you did that you lost on, and just improve at that.
That's awesome.
Thank you, brother.
Well, hey, if you ever see this guy with the other guy, you guys should hang out with them because they're both amazing. I love them to death. Thanks so much.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, I'm Garnett, pro pickleball player, number 3 in singles right now. I think the biggest thing for me to focus on getting better is just putting in the practice off the court and on the court. It's being intentional with what you're doing. The matches aren't won when you're playing, they're won beforehand.
Yeah, there's no question. So practice. I mean, so what would you say? Is it 70-30?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's perfect practice. It's whatever you can do to keep, when you're fully locked in on practice, that's the amount you should practice, and you want to keep building that up. But it doesn't help when you're practicing and your kind of mind is wandering elsewhere.
Right. There's no practice hard.
Exactly.
Harder than you play.
Exactly.
So then let me ask you, but how do you juggle between singles and doubles?
Yeah, I think everyone has a different mix, but it's depending on the week what I'm feeling more comfortable with. I'll usually kind of step up the other one in practice and then try and find a balance. But that's something that's definitely more of an art than a science. And so it's kind of depends.
Right, sure.
Yeah.
It must be difficult to find good singles players then.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is practice and just finding someone that you can drill with and getting what you want to get out of the practice, I think. I mean, you look at Tyson, he was able to make a career in Coeur d'Alene.
Yeah.
Top players because he was so intentional with his practice.
Yeah, it's so true. Well, that's amazing. Well, cool. Well, thank you. I love this guy. He's an amazing individual. If you ever guys get a chance to hang out or even say hi, make sure you walk up, introduce yourself, because here's one of the nicest guys on the tour.
Thank you.
All right.
Good stuff.
Thanks much.
Yeah, of course.
Hey guys, Rafa Hewett here, RAFA.
And what are we going to talk about today?
Well, the first thing I got to say is that this man and I go back, God, I don't know, like 8 years. And he's a legend and a dear friend, and I don't even call him friend, I call him brother. I love his whole family and his kids, and he's an absolute delight to this world. He brings sunshine everywhere he goes. So whatever he says, you guys need to know it's gospel. So I'm going to ask you this question, brother.
Yes.
You know, if there was one thing you could say to my top students, or even to any top student around the nation, what would be the one or two things that you would say to them?
I would say, like, depending on what write down your goals, write down your short-term and your long-term goals, and don't give up on these goals that you guys are looking for. And with the pickleball side of things, if you're trying to become a professional, take your time. Don't rush yourself into it so hard, and don't be so hard on yourself at the same time. So, and if you got Coach Terry, you'll be fine.
He's a doll. See, he's lying, but it's good. I like the lie.
He'll keep you straight.
Now, when you're on tour, what's the hardest thing being on tour?
The hardest thing being on tour for me is being away from my kids. So I have beautiful kids back in Auburn, Alabama right now.
Oh boy, do I know that, man.
Oh yeah. So that's always tough. The schedule, the traveling, flying in and out, red eyes, getting to the tournaments, getting the reps. That's kind of tough. And then just being homesick. That's for me.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's that way for everybody. So how do you actually deal with it then? How do you turn it into a positive? A positive.
I mean, it's work. You got to think of this. You're coming here. You're working. You're busting your butt every single day, and you know that you're here for work. So I know that I'm okay with it. And once I'm done. I get to come home to the kids. So.
Right on. Hey, you guys, lots of love to Rafa. Check him out. He's got some great videos. He's a great instructor. If he ever comes to your town, make sure you get into that camp.
Yeah, baby.
All right. Thanks so much. Love you, brother.
You too. Appreciate you.
Catherine Parentau. Catherine with a C. Parentau. Parenteau.
And what's your title and ranking at this point?
I think I'm ranked 2 in women's doubles, 5 in mixed doubles, and 7th in singles.
She's basically number 1 in women's doubles.
Yeah.
We play together, so. I'm Anna Leigh Waters, ANNA space capital LEIGH space capital WATERS. Funny enough, in my first ever interview, I was so nervous I couldn't spell my name. So I've come a long way. But I'm a professional pickleball player. I'm number 1 in the world in all 3 divisions. Catherine here's my partner in women's doubles. Couldn't do it without her. And yeah, we're just here answering some questions.
So, ladies, we the two of all of us, we go back, God, years. 7, 8 years now.
Yep.
I remember when you were 10 and you played with my son.
Yeah, Caden.
Right.
We won, too.
Yeah, we won that. Everyone's like,
what tournament? It was in California. I forget where in
Walnut Creek.
Okay. And
Jordan Briones ran it.
4-5, I think. And we played the Proposal Dave. Do you remember Proposal
Yeah,
Dave?
yeah,
There's
yeah.
this guy who
Single
wore
knee, double knee,
pads,
yeah.
And he'd get on his knees and play. And we played them in the final and we won.
Yeah, they killed everybody. It wasn't even a win. It was like a slaughter. Yeah, and everyone was just amazed. Here are these 2 little kids just killing everybody. So, ladies, I have a question for each of you, and it really kind of revolves around, the women's division and how tough it is to turn pro and what that means. Could you give 1 or 2 little antidotes for the young ladies that are coming up that want to be a pro? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I would say to try to play as many tournaments as you can. I think it's getting a lot of experience. The more you play in tournaments, the more experience you have. At first, I think you have to set your expectation a little bit lower. It's hard to just go into a tournament thinking you're going to do really well when you first start playing. So I would say, start in maybe PPA's qualifiers. Once you qualify a few times, just keep playing, and then eventually you're going to see your ranking go up. But yeah, I really believe in the more you play tournaments, the more experience you have, the better you're going to get.
Wow, wonderful. And it's really difficult to have long-term in the league. So what's the tough part? The traveling and family life and,
Luckily, I get to travel with my partner, Athena, so that makes it easier. We're always together on and off the road. I would say, traveling is probably one of the hardest things. We try to stay in Airbnb, so it makes it more like a homey kind of, you know, when you're on the road, you stay at an Airbnb, feels more like home.
Yeah.
And I would say recovery. We play so many tournaments, so I feel like it's really important to take care of your body. Just, you know, recovery is the key, really, to keep going.
Long term.
Yep.
It's all about time on the court, and it's all about being able to stay on the court,
exactly.
right?
Stay
Let's
healthy.
go. So Anna Leigh.
Yep.
So go on. You know, you're number one in the world, so I mean, obviously taking care of your body, I mean, what you do off the court has to be super important, right?
Yeah, and because I started when I was younger and I played these tournaments, I could not recover and be okay like the first couple of years. But the older I got, I'm only 18 now, but I'm definitely feeling it after tournaments. In the last year, I've had to really like hone down on my recovery because I was starting to get some injuries, and I feel like I've kind of found like a secret sauce now where I'm not doing like, I know a lot of people like doing boots or like a ton of like stretching or like the hypervolt stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of what Catherine does.
Yeah, you do that.
Yeah, and she's injured less than I am, so maybe she's figured it out.
No, I'm older, so I gotta take care of that.
But I like to do a lot of like slow movements, like with just body weight. So after I'm done playing, maybe I'll take like a 10-minute walk, and then I'll do some like slow exercises. I'll get on the floor, like I'll do some like leg lifts, like make sure I hit like all my muscles and like slow controlled movements, and that's helped me a lot. So definitely time off the court is just as important as time on the court, especially not even talking about recovery, but just being in the gym and doing other things that are athletic and not just playing pickleball. I think is super important, not only to make you last longer as far as years time on court, but also makes you stronger, faster, all of the above. So I feel like a lot of people spend too much time like working on stuff on the court and need to also spend time in the gym working out.
Right. So how much time, and I'll ask this to both of you, between playing and practicing, because you guys both play in all events, which is really difficult, right?
Very difficult.
So how much time do you spend drilling comparative to playing?
Playing rec games, you mean?
Just playing, getting rec games in. And
I would say probably 60 to 70% drilling, and then 30 to 40% I'm playing rec games. I think you can definitely drill too much and not get enough rec game experience, especially if you're like just starting to play. I feel like you really need to play a lot of games to figure out like the nuances of the game. But you also can't play more rec or more tournaments than you do drill. So it's kind of this balance to where you can definitely tip over on both sides, but I would say like 60-70% drill and then the rest play.
Yep.
Very similar. I would say probably the same amount, honestly. 80% drilling, maybe 70%, and then 30% rec games. I feel like you can get better in drilling, just quicker, faster, but also it's so important to get rec games in because that's what you do a lot
work on the stuff that you're drilling, and you need to be able to put it in a match. Because if you just drill and then you go to a tournament, you're not gonna, in a tight situation, use that shot.
Doesn't equate, right? Doesn't transfer over. Okay, I have one last question. You guys have like the world, I think one of the greatest relationships on the court. There's so much joy and inspiration and I mean, you're like, let's go, and you're like, okay. So I mean, tell us and tell them like how important the relationship is in team play.
It's definitely grown over the years. I mean, Catherine used to play with my mom, so I had a relationship with her just as friends and cheering them on and watching them play. And then when we started playing together, we were very comfortable, I felt like. And then over the years, we've just become really good friends, so I feel like that shows on the court. That's definitely not something that happens like overnight. You just meet up with the person and you have a good relationship from the start, so it definitely takes time. But Catherine and I just get along so well. I feel like our personalities match.
Yeah, that's so important. Just to play, to play well together. The chemistry is important. I feel like we have a really good chemistry, and in tough moments or whenever we have adversity coming our way, I feel like we do a really good job. We communicate really well together.
We trust each other on the court too.
Yeah. Do you guys think that's different from the male, dynamic and female dynamic?
Maybe. I mean, with Ben, I feel like maybe we're not as close as Catherine and I are, but I definitely trust him on the court, and I think that's a huge thing. You don't necessarily have to be best friends with your partner.
Exactly.
Right.
You just have to trust their shots. As far as the male-female dynamic goes, not take too much of her court, and make sure she's okay with you taking her court.
Yeah.
And if you have that kind of understanding, I think it's fine. There have been mixed partners that I've done well with that I didn't really know that well, but we had that kind of trust, and so it worked. But definitely being friends also helps.
Yeah.
For sure.
Same.
Yep.
All right, big hug. Love you guys.
you.
If you ever meet these ladies on a court, make sure you ask them a great question because they're sweet as hell and they'll be happy to help out.
For sure.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Good job. Let's go this week, huh? Come on.